Yo Rebels, now we're helping you guys out with the Cloudtreading deer in Blacksmith Wukong. Now this is a boss in chapter 6 and you need to eliminate this boss to get to the final boss of the entire game. Now it's actually extremely easy if you know how to use your spells, because I know this boss could be very overwhelming because wow, you're surprised it was a second phase. I know I was surely surprised it was a second phase, and then with all the blood and the tornadoes and everything, it was just very overwhelming. But as soon as you know what spells to use when, it's actually pretty easy. So let's start off with what spells do you need to focus your skill points on. Firstly, you need to focus on Cloud Step, Immobilize, and then for your character you turn in, you're going to focus on the Umbral Abyss. Now the Umbral Abyss instead of Red Tides is a really smart move in this case, because the Umbral Abyss does a lot more damage to him. I don't know why, I feel like the deer has some sort of weakness to him, but it does a lot more damage to him. So if you invest a lot of skill points in that and let it regenerate faster, this is going to help you a lot in this battle. Unfortunately, I couldn't invest that much skill points into the regenerating faster, so I only used it once in this battle. But if you can use it in the first phase and the second phase, that would help you out extremely a lot. And then obviously you can use your Tiger Medicine for that extra damage in the battle, because the first phase is going to be a battle race, and then you need to use the secret item you get in chapter 2 of the game to eliminate these tornadoes in this first phase. So if this video is helpful, be sure you like it, because that helps me. And let's get into the fight breakdown. Okay, so flying towards the Cloudtreading deer, that's a tongue twister. You want to immobilize him as soon as possible. So as you see, I immobilize him, and now we're going to play really aggressive towards him. Now during this first phase, you want to try and use your mana as resourceful as possible. So I do not recommend using immobilize more than twice. So you can use your immobilize 2 times in this first phase, and then you can use your Cloud Step up to 2 or 3 times in this first phase. You will also be using your chapter 2 secret item once his tornadoes come out, but don't use it instantly, because we'll see right now in a moment when we get his health down. So these are all just basic dodges that, as you can see, because I'm playing so aggressive, I missed a lot of them. So I knew his second phase attack pattern very well, so I was still confident at this point. I was extremely confident because I know what's happening in the second phase. But if you do not know his attack pattern in the second phase, I recommend playing it a little bit more safe than I am, so you can save more of your healing for that second phase. But as you can see, he's going to get his tornadoes out right now, and now we're going to turn into the Umbral Abyss. Now the Umbral Abyss, for some reason, like I said earlier, does a lot of damage to him. So we're charging it up. Unfortunately, it didn't take damage. I'm not certain why it didn't take any damage right there, but we're charging it up, and without using his heavy attacks right now, we're just dodging. Look how much damage his normal attacks, his basic square attacks, does against him. And then he staggers him as well. That is why you want to do it for that stagger, because now you need to Cloud Step. Be sure you've saved your Cloud Step. Like I said, be sure you've saved that so you can get him for that critical hit, get the winds away, use your secret item, then he staggered again, and now we're in the home stretch of the first phase. As you can see, these are 3 hits because we staggered them twice with the Umbral Abyss, and then with the secret item we staggered them. And now, as you can see, his attacks are pretty basic again. You just need to dodge those. As you just saw, my timing was perfect on that dodge. So now, like I said, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I did use my immobilize for a 3rd time. I do not recommend you doing that. Do not do that. That was a mistake I made. Only afterwards I realized, crap, I just used it. But now we're going into a second phase. Now the second phase, at first you want to run away. Just like you see, I'm running away. He does extremely a lot of damage. Now you want to dodge, because you see he does that in this when he just transforms into a second phase. When that hits you, that does a lot of damage. So we're playing it a little bit more defensive than in the first phase. So now we're going in, we're going to Cloud Step towards him, get that critical hit. As you can see, that critical hit did a lot of damage. Also got 2 light attacks out on him. Now we're going to do some dodges. We're looking at our mana. Our immobilize will be ready soon. So as soon as our immobilize is ready, we're going to immobilize him. You will still have a little bit more mana left than me at this point, because I made that mistake by using my immobilize 3 times. I miscounted in my first stage. That is why it's also extremely helpful when you do these battles to use a healing where you get mana after you've healed. So let's say my health was low, I'm out of mana, I healed, and then most of the times you have enough mana to at least use your Cloud Step, or maybe to use your Immobilize. Maybe you couldn't, and then you can use it. So as you can see, these are basic dodges. These are skillful dodges. They're not really basic. You need to time these dodges correctly. That's basically the only thing you can do right here. If you have your spirit available, I would recommend using your spirit right now. The spirit that I'm using is the Spearbone, as I always use, because the Spearbone doesn't take any damage. With my testing I've done, all the other spirits I've used still lets you take damage, but the Spearbone for some reason doesn't, but I think it's because of the big shield. Now, as you saw, I just used my Immobilize one last time. That was my last time. You would still have that one extra use left. If I still had that one extra use left and I just played a little bit more defensive at the end of his first phase, he would have been dead by now, but I made a mistake. So it's okay, because now he's just standing still. He is staggered. I'm using my spirit. And then I also have a Cloud Step ready for that critical hit. Getting that final hit in with the Spearbone. You see I took no damage. Using the Cloud Step, getting that critical hit in. And the light attack combo will finish him off. That's how easy this battle actually could be for you, if you just know what you're doing. So in conclusion of this boss fight is you need to know when to use your mana and when not. So you need to use your mana resourcefully. I do not recommend using a Pluck of Many, because a Pluck of Many takes a lot of mana, and yes, it does a lot of damage, but you can use that mana more resourcefully and do even more damage over the long run as then in the short run in your first or second phase. So use your mana resourcefully. You need to get those dodges in the second phase. What I did was I went in a couple of times. I learned his second phase pattern, so I can know when to dodge and when not to dodge. Keep in mind, at the first phase, try using your Immobilize only 2 times. Do not do it 3 times like I did. At the end of the first phase, play a little bit more defensive, but for the rest of the battle, play aggressive. And then the second phase, just follow the video. I'm pretty sure then you'll win them. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching, and GG Gamers.